stay in the Western Cape and go to Bulelani Phillip, who's at the Cape Town City Hall. Bulelani, a very good afternoon to you. It seems very quiet where you are. Tell me what's happening.
Well, good afternoon to you, Zinga, and to the viewers at home. Of course, I'm coming to you live outside the Cape Town City Hall, where President Cyril Ramaphosa will be delivering the State of the Nation address tonight. Of course, a lot of expectation, and we're taking reactions and commentary from all political parties as well as civil society organizations. Joining me now is Cosatu's parliamentary coordinator, Matthew Parks. Matthew, going into the State of the Nation address, as Cosatu, what are you expecting the President to say?
Sure, thanks. Look, the President's got a lot on his plate. There's a myriad of crises he has to deal with, but he has to prioritize the most critical ones. I think one is to give a sense of hope and faith to the public at large, which is really losing faith rapidly in the ability of government to address the myriad of issues. I think number one, obviously, is the issue of load shedding. You can't grow the economy, you can't reduce unemployment with 10 hours of load shedding a day, so he needs to announce a state of disaster, and that basically government's going to give every possible support and every possible resource, including personnel, debt relief and so on, to Eskom, so we can begin to reduce and then end load shedding. We need to see similar measures being given to our freight and our passenger rail, because they're under severe siege because of criminality, of cable theft and so on, and those are critical to mining, to manufacturing, to agricultural jobs, but also to getting workers in the cities to work on time. Again, we need to see similar plans to turn around other SOEs, be it the Post Office, Denel, SABC and so forth. And again, we need to see similar plans around restoring local government, especially basic services in many of our townships and rural economies, rural towns and so forth. The public at large also is exacerbated by the level of corruption, so we need to see additional support being given to the police, the National Prosecuting Authority, to the South African Revenue Service, to the courts to tackle corruption. Again, similarly around criminality as well. We've seen a headcount decline in the police service over the last 2 decades. That needs to be reversed. And whilst we're rebuilding the state and beginning to grow the economy, we need to give some sort of relief to the poor, to the unemployed. So the presidential employment stimulus has done well. It's given opportunities for 500,000 young people. Let's see if we can expand it to at least 1 million people by February, to 2 million people by October. The SOD grant, the 350 Rand grant, has given some sort of relief to about 8 to 10 million people who are unemployed. So can we increase it to all 12 million people who are unemployed? Can we look at increasing the level from 350 Rand to the food poverty line of about 650 Rand, and also to offer its recipients some skills and employment opportunities? So I think for us, those are the critical things. But I think really society wants to get a sense of hope, but also want to see from government not just words, but actions, timeframes, interventions, so they can hold the state to account.
Look, in terms of this plan of declaring a state of national disaster for the rolling blackouts, there's a lot of fears in some quarters that we may have a repeat of what happened when the state of national disaster was declared under COVID and issues of corruption. As Cosatu, do you support this move of declaring a state of national disaster?
No, we do support it. We've been asking the President to declare a state of disaster for the past few weeks. We've had our engagements. We think it's critical, one, to give a sense to the public at large that government appreciates the urgency of the crisis. Secondly, to concentrate all of government's attention to resolving the energy crisis. Not just Eskom or public enterprises, but that Treasury gives support on the debt relief and around the wasteful expenditure. The law enforcement gives support to Eskom around the issue of tackling corruption. That also local government is brought to the party in terms of resolving the debts, the 56 billion rand it owes Eskom. But I think also to send a message to all of us as a society that all of us must support Eskom. So those in companies, those in the SOEs and departments and businesses and even ordinary residents, we must all pay the money we owe to Eskom, because if we don't give Eskom the money it needs, then how is it going to provide electricity? How is it going to deal with the issue of maintenance and bring aboard new generation capacity? So I think for us, it's long overdue, let's do it. And also it's critical that we manage COVID-19 because we didn't treat it as a health issue. We treated this is the crisis that all of us as society, be it the media, taxi drivers, nurses or shopkeepers, all of us must contribute towards resolving it. And that's the only way we can resolve our energy crisis, but equally other crises like the issue of corruption, unemployment and so forth.
What advice would you give the President in terms of dealing with the rising cost of living?
Sure. Look, there's not much we can do about some of the key issues. So there's nothing we can do about the war in Ukraine, which has spiked the international oil price, but we can reduce the fuel price that we charge to society. 32% of the fuel prices are taxes. So government can reduce that like they did in 2022. It gives some relief to the consumers. That can be done quickly. There is a cost to the state, sure, but we can find other ways of filling that hole in the fiscus, for example, by giving more support and powers to SARS to go after tax evaders. We think the other one is about Eskom. Eskom has been dependent upon these double-digit tariff hikes for the last 16 years. It's unaffordable to workers and to the economy. If you can reduce Eskom's debt by at least 2/3, if you can help Eskom to reduce the financial losses they incur, be it on non-payment of services, be it stealing or wasteful expenditure, that can reduce Eskom's need to go after these double-digit hikes. So if we can reduce the fuel taxes, if we can give support to Eskom, those are the two major issues that cause inflation. That can give immediate relief to the poor. Equally, if we can increase the SRD grant from 350 to 650, that gives help to those who are unemployed. If we can give support to SMEs, to workers as well. We have a bill before Parliament now which allows workers early access to the pension funds. That can help them to pay off their debts. So Parliament needs to fast track that bill. Let it happen over the course of this year, because again, that's going to give relief to workers who are drowning in debt.
All right, thank you so much. Matthew Parks is the Cosatu's parliamentary coordinator, giving us the union's view on the issue of the rising cost of living in the country, which is buckling a lot of consumers under debt and hardship.